Hi, welcome back. Tonight we are looking at Hcmc because Hcmc as of so far has been seeing a relatively flat day. Basically no movement at all from market open to close, at least so far, and we can see that throughout the day. Yes, we have had quite a bit of volatility, but overall the share price is sitting quite flat. Again, this comes after a negative week, and over the past few days this sell-off is kind of slowing down by a small amount, which is a good sign in my opinion. But yeah, in this video I'm giving all of my opinions quickly on what we have been seeing over the past few days, because I did miss uploading yesterday. So we're going to be talking about yesterday, we're going to be talking about today, and what I think, being as we have seen 2 more days in the red. Well, of course, all of that and much more is coming up in this very short video. Please do make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel, because we make videos on Hcmc and other stocks every single day. But now that I've mentioned that, let's jump into this one. So yes, looking on the 1-day chart here, we can see that basically throughout the past week or so we have seen a lot of volatility. Obviously Hcmc stock hit highs all the way back here, where we saw the share price rocket to about 0.006, or at least just slightly below there. And of course ever since we have been selling off, and it does make sense. If we do think about this one, of course people were getting very hyped up about this lawsuit with Philip Morris, and I think rightly so. I think there is a lot of attention that could be going on to this one in the future. But of course people thought on the date of the 26th, when this lawsuit was apparently, bound to set off, people thought on that day alone they were going to become rich, perhaps with the share price hitting as high as $1. Now we have talked about this one in the past, why it wasn't going to hit $1 at that point, and in tomorrow's episode we're going to be talking about what could happen to make this stock in theory hit $1, so please do make sure to watch that one. But anyway, yeah, ever since this high point here, with people realizing that the stock wasn't going to rocket on a specific day, I think people started to sell off, thinking that Hcmc was dead. And this attitude around the stock price being dead has continued into the past week or so, where we can see that in the past few days the stock price has been going down, but it has been relatively calm, which is fantastic. Now the reason why I'm saying that this is fantastic is because yes, I do understand a lot of people want to see Hcmc rocket. I've spoken about this in the previous episodes, and I'm going to speak about it quickly again. I own 840,000 shares of Hcmc. Trust me guys, I want to see this one do as well as it possibly can, so don't think that I am bearish on this one. Obviously I do have high expectations, and that is why I bought shares. But the realistic thing with this one guys is, with the lawsuit being the main catalyst at the moment, we need to be realistic. The lawsuit could take months, perhaps even years. Of course we are waiting until around the 26th of April to see what happens with Philip Morris and Hcmc. Perhaps we might reach a settlement, perhaps we might not. But ultimately, in my eyes, I don't think that matters. I think if you are willing to wait out the lawsuit, whether it's going to be settled in the next month or so, or whether it is going to happen in the next few years, I think if you are patient, it definitely could pay off. Now we already know that Hcmc is a penny stock, and it's a risky one at that. The company is fantastic in my eyes. I think they do need to expand their business model, because right now they have a few stores, don't get me wrong, but I think if they were to expand, the company could see fantastic organic growth figures going forwards into the future. But yeah, getting back specifically to the share price point right now, I think where we are moving, looking at these candlesticks over the past few days, obviously the traction in the sell-off way has actually been slowing down. And it looks like today we are pretty green. I mean, yes, we are still in the red, but obviously it's not as steep as we have seen in the past 2 or 3 days. Now this is fantastic in my eyes. I definitely think that looking forwards into tomorrow or the next day, we could see this sell-off hopefully start to end or remain relatively flat. And again guys, if you are investing in Hcmc, that is what you need to expect, in my opinion at least. I think if Hcmc is going to do anything, if it is going to rocket or anything like that, it is going to reward the people who are patient with holding the stock. And of course, like I said, we already know it carries a lot of risk, but if you were to buy this one right now, for example, and of course hold it for the next 2 to 3 years, or even the next 12 months, let's say, just to be, on the less conservative side, if you were to hold it in that time and it was to pop, obviously it would still be a worthwhile investment. So yes, I am personally waiting to see what happens with this lawsuit, and I am actually happy with how we have been moving over the past few days. So would I buy the dip right now? Well, honestly guys, I would buy the dip right now, but personally, in my opinion at least, there's something that does need to be mentioned. I do think that there's a lot of potential with this stock anyway, as I have just mentioned, but again, if you are looking to buy this one, I definitely think it is important that you are aware of the risks that come with it. I would say don't buy Hcmc now or at all if you are not willing to be patient, because it probably will take a lot of patience to see the share price rocket if it does at all. And again, I would definitely not buy this one if you can't, see it going down a little bit more in the future. I'm not saying that it is or is not going to drop a bit further. Personally, I do think it is, but that is only just my opinion. But you know what, guys? Even if this one was to drop by a further 0.0002 or perhaps another 0.0004, that would of course still put us in the 0.001 range. I think if we can remain in this range, I am pretty comfortable with the share price. And again, like I said, I think it is going to pay out to people who are patient in the long term. That is just my opinion though. But one thing that I do want to, bring your memory back to is what we have seen in patterns around other stocks. Now, of course, I'm not saying that these stocks are the same, because they are absolutely not. Obviously, the beginning share price was different. The catalysts and the factors were different as well. But it is just a pattern of things that do happen when penny stocks do rocket. So the first one I want to bring your attention to is Sundial. Now, once again, I'm going to say it again, I know that I've just said it, I am not saying that this stock is going to hit $1. I think Hcmc does have a potential if we see a share buyback or a reverse split, but that is not guaranteed. So this is just an example pattern-wise. So basically, with Sundial, we did see this stock sit quite flat for a bit of time. Then we had an initial pump in price, and it sat flat there again. But the people who held this one from December up until now were up around 231%. And if you'd have held this one up until the highs, you would have been up around 342%. Looking at this one from the lows, if you'd have held until the highs, you'd be up over 1000%. I think this is just one example of how a penny stock can absolutely explode in price. Again, we have TSMP. It's a similar story where the share price was pretty dead, pretty flat for some time. And of course, people who bought in at the lows and held until the highs were up 6,800%. Zomedica, kind of similar story, where we can see that in the past year or so, we have seen the share price go from lows of about 70 cents all the way to highs of around, $2 plus. And at that point, people were up by around 3,500%. So I'm not saying that Hcmc is going to do this, but for people who think that it's unrealistic, and absolutely impossible, I would not say it is impossible. Again, that $1 mark, we're going to talk about what could happen to send it there tomorrow, but I just wanted to remind you guys, obviously, if you have bought Hcmc or if you're looking to buy Hcmc, I would personally be patient with this one. I would anticipate it dropping a bit further, and that is not a bad thing. Again, I have said this before, not really anything within the lawsuit has happened yet. All that has happened is hype has got into the stock. So the fact that we are seeing a sell-off as people who aren't patient are taking losses perhaps is not a bad thing. I think the more solid people who do believe in this stock and the people who are more patient probably are going to continue to hold going forwards into the future, and I do think that is these people who are going to get the largest reward if the stock does pop off in price. So thank you for this quick video. I thought I'd just join you to give you all of my opinions, so I just thought I'd make another quick one talking about Hcmc tonight. Again, tomorrow we are talking about the potential of this hitting $1, so make sure to join us for that. But again, we have seen another negative day, so I thought I'd just give you an update. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Goodbye until then. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you very, very soon.